I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. It's been an interesting journey so far, and we're just starting. There's a lot of new symptoms occurring in the Ascension Symptoms realm, and it's time to kind of sit down and talk about them again. There's some of the ones that were from before are still occurring, such as the dizziness. It's changed, where before it kind of felt like you were vegging on the couch for way too long and then you stood up too quickly. And it's still that in some ways, but it's also like a waviness. And that's been happening on and off, but it seems to be more pronounced. It's becoming more wavy. And I actually heard the answer to what that is the waviness is the compassion. All of the people, the ascending individuals, all of our brothers and sisters waking up and finding themselves in their heart centers. I mean, that's just one example of how all of these symptoms are always such good things, that they're signs of something beautiful and worth having, The electricity stuff has been really weird. Let me tell you about that one a little bit. So it's not just me. I have a friend who lives down the road, and she has the same thing. So touching anything that is charged with electricity causes a physical response when you touch it. Not like static electricity. It's different. You could see it kind of envelop the thing. Like, so when you're picking up your phone, and what's cool about a side note about that one is that I've actually done a little bit of experiment, because it's unpredictable, it's intermittent, but I've noticed that it actually charges my phone a little bit too when I touch it. It's kind of cool. And so that's weird. And electric body stuff, like my head, it started with the top of my head. It felt like it was electricity. And then it kind of moved on to more of my head. And I kind of, like, my body feels like it's buzzing. It's really weird. And like the ear ringing is kind of moved to my body a little bit. It's very strange. Because it doesn't make sense when I try to articulate it, which is another point. Spoken language is weird right now. Like, I have the luxury of having an awakened child who is ahead of me in a lot of this stuff, to be honest. And we don't have to talk with words most of the time, especially these days. And then I go places where people want you to use words, and I kind of like, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like I'm trying to do something backwards using words. And for a while that's been the case, because it just more and more, as you wake up, as you become awakened in your spiritual awakening journey, it's easier to see how much of a barrier language has on our truth. Like, there's talking to people, and then there's truth. And everyone's truth is unique, but also there's like a base truth that we, as one large organism that are interconnected and one, share. And when we're inconsistent in that in some way, then we're away from that truth, right? And the way that this language is developed or designed, it kind of lures you away or pulls you astray from that truth in some ways, and in many ways in some cases. And so there's already that barrier of language, right? And it's just very limiting in just its design, and not just the mistruth of it, but just it's limiting. So there's been that language stuff. I've been noticing a more difficult time answering questions for people, and having that normal social interaction. Earlier on, I started to notice I became somebody who was less social. You know, I used to be a very social person. That just, you know, I would be like spearheading large groups and gatherings and things, and now, no. Like, I don't want to, I'm good. I'm set. You know, like, why are you following me? Oh, you're trying to talk to me. Why? You know, I'm trying to work on that. But, so yeah, the language thing. And communication in a spiritual way has changed. It's not, it's like everything has a tracer now. It's like a colorful light tracer, right? And like when you feel that waviness, the air kind of has like a colorful light, fainted light wave to it. Like you could see the wave. And like it's more apparent. You can kind of see the beings, the light of them. And it's really comforting. You know, like it's different. Something really big changed recently for a lot of us globally. And that's when it started to be really pronounced and noticeable. Some unpleasant symptoms have been some profound nausea, like just really sick to my stomach, and just goes in waves. Sinus pressure, intense sinus pressure that just comes and goes. You know, it doesn't seem like that there's any way to predict that one at all, and that's not fun. One that just recently, not too long ago, left me, but some people are still experiencing is like fogginess in your eyes. You know, it's like you have some kind of gunk in your eyes. It's kind of blocking your vision. You kind of rub your eyes a lot so you can see. As soon as that went away, though, that was when the light tracer thing started happening, where you can start to see the signature of things differently in a very comforting and beautiful way. Another unpleasant one is the sweats have come back. You know, it's like night sweats where you wake up and you're just like, you know, for a while I thought maybe it's because I know we're working so hard in astral right now. When we're sleeping, we're doing a lot of work. But I don't know what it is exactly, but I mean, just the sweats are just disgusting. And, you know, the need for water, just water, drinking water all the time, wanting to go to the water all the time, like choosing baths over showers, you know, like deciding to like take extra long time doing the dishes, just wanting to be with, interacting and engaging with the water as much as I can. Walking barefoot is something that's really, if you don't do that, please try it. Please, you know, maybe if you don't want to walk around, that's fine. Just take your shoes off and stand someplace that you feel good about, you know, in the grass and the soil and the sand and the dirt, you know, put your feet in the water. Just, that really helps. If you can get into nature and just be there in any way, that's helpful. You know, your feet, it doesn't have to be your feet. You can put your hands in it too. It just doesn't happen. You can't ground as quickly with your hands, but it's not that much longer if you use your hands. You know, working in the garden. You know, I love the garden, and that's where I first started to meditate. I didn't sit down to meditate. I would be gardening, and I'd have my hands in the soil, and I don't like shoes, so I'd be barefoot too, and I would start to feel the flow of the trees and become the tree, and you know, that's where I started meditating for the first time. Anyway, so if you can do that, that's really helpful. Some other ascension symptoms people are experiencing is strange euphoric experiences. Just these like influxes, waves of like, well, there's the joy, right? There's like the elation, the beautiful, just, oh my gosh, everything's so awesome, and just feel so at peace. And it could be an extreme experience because we're shifting back and forth. And we're shifting back and forth because there's work to be done in 3D. You know, we are definitely in that ascension process, and the earth has definitely shifted. She is in the higher frequencies, and we are part of her. But there's also stuff that's left behind that's still here too, that needs help, and that we need to interact with in some way. And that's not the most easy sometimes, but back and forth definitely is occurring. You know, and like the energetic body stuff, I'm noticing when I'm walking around, like my legs are just like in front of me, but I'm walking. Like I don't feel my legs walking. I know I'm walking, but I swear I could put my hands out in front of me and touch my toes. Same with my arms sometimes when I'm holding stuff. Suddenly I'm like, well, I'm holding things. How am I holding these grocery bags? But my arms are straight out in front of me or to the side of me. Like bizarre stuff like that. And along with that euphoric sensation, there's some other euphoric kind of experiences that have been occurring for me and for other women I've talked to that are kind of disruptive and embarrassing. And I mean, there's been times recently I've just had to pull over the truck, or like I'm like walking down the road and somebody's mowing their lawn, and yeah. So that's been weird. And you know, the increase in sensation of senses, like for any of you women who have been pregnant, where you can smell something from a block away, well, I just increase that by 5. You know, like I can smell everything. And like, I can't even go into the grocery stores anymore. They smell like mold. Like, it's so disgusting. And like, oh, it's bad. And like, same with touch. Like my sensation of touch is just so pronounced now, you know, and hearing, I can hear like everything. It seems like, you know, I no one else can hear the things that they will eventually. And they're like, oh yeah, I hear it now, as whatever it is, you know, like say it's a car approaching, you know, but I can hear it way sooner than anyone else. And then the back of my neck, where your neck meets your head, that's like, I'm calling it the 4D chakra, right? Because that's where we go. Excuse me, in our dream space. That's 4D, right? That's where we go work. That's where we're doing all that work. And so that's also our dream chakra. That's our dream center. And a lot of us are experiencing that opening up. That's also where our soul attaches to us. That's to our physical body. And something is happening there where it's being activated. People are noticing that they have a bump there or a rash there, or their neck is out of alignment, or there's something going on with their neck and their back. And that's good, okay? I think it's good. So many of us are having it. It feels like it's something that's being ignited or started for us. And it's inspired. You know, we're being activated. All of us are. I'm running out of time to continue on with this recording at this moment. There's so many things happening right now. If I have not listed something, please comment below. The whole point of this YouTube channel is, you know, I've been doing this for a while. And the majority of that time, I was alone. Like, there was nobody to talk to. Anyone that I would talk to, not just that they would judge me and those types of things, but they didn't understand and didn't do any good to talk about it. You know, and I didn't have anybody to compare notes with, you know, and get reassurance from, and also find ways to traverse this experience, because it's weird, right? There's no standard. We have no manual. So please, if you have any questions, comment below. They will be answered. If you have any more symptoms you'd like to add, please comment on those symptoms down below to include that to our list. And please don't forget, drink plenty of water. Go into nature as much as you can. If you don't have nature available to you, most cities have a local park. You know, I mean, there's a patch of grass someplace that you can stand on, that you can put your hands on. If there's a tree nearby, I know it sounds like that hokey hippie thing, but hugging a tree is really awesome. It really does help. It's really grounding and energetically pleasing. I used to like to walk down the road when I lived in the city and touching the leaves as I went. You can see the energy exchange when you do it. The leaf would give, and then like I would give back somehow. And I became something new as I touched each one on my way down the sidewalk. It's beautiful. Participate. So please comment. You like this video, subscribe, share it with anybody that you can think of that would find benefit with this. And I hope you're having a wonderful journey. You're not alone. Don't give up. It's weird, but it's really cool. Aho blessings.